Well, Australia's largest online book retailer, Booktopia, has entered voluntary administration, leaving customers in the dark on unfulfilled orders. After 20 years of operation, the company is assessing whether to sell or recapitalise after trading at a loss for more than 12 months. It points to a broader issue in the retail sector. Even though sales rose 0.6% in May, many claim we are in a retail recession. Joining us live now is Fleur, Australian Retailers Association Industry Affairs Chief. Fleur, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. Do you think we are in a retail recession?
Look, I'm not an economist, but there are some economists that are calling it at the moment. We are seeing very soft growth year on year. Some pockets of deep concern, particularly within discretionary retail categories, and not a lot of light at the end of the tunnel this year.
Yeah, and you'd be putting this down to the rate rises, would you not?
Absolutely. There's a lag effect of around 6 months to any rate rises when it comes to consumer spending. So we're still cycling through that at the moment. Of course, many retailers have just been hanging on by their fingernails, hoping for a little bit of reprieve.
If there's another rate rise, how many more may go under?
Well, we have seen a delayed effect to insolvencies as well. There was a lot of cash around, through the pandemic period. There's been, reasonable levels of household savings. But of course, now we're getting to the pinch point when it comes to household spending. So we may see, unfortunately, some retailers folding. Yeah,
and you're looking at this Booktopia story. I would always buy my books from Booktopia. Not that I read much these days because I've got little kids. But is this an example here of a business, trying to do too much, or does it fit into this broader problem that we've already discussed?
Look, I think a little of both. It's terribly sad to see an iconic retailer like that fold. Of course, it's in a very challenging space. Books challenging, online retailing challenging. You're open to a whole lot of offshore competition. Spotify is now offering books. So it's a highly competitive space. So I think we have to keep that in mind with Australian brands.
No, that's a good point too. And just finally, what you sort of just touched on this in a previous answer, but how are businesses surviving in this tough climate? How are they trying to strip things back just to scrape through until those rates start coming down again?
Yeah, well, look, the mental health side of it is really important for particularly small business. Many of them just need to retain some optimism that they can hang in there. They are reducing their own margins in many cases, and sometimes they're having to pass on costs to the consumer, which they do extremely reluctantly. Okay. So it's not just the slowdown in spending, it's the increased cost of doing business for them as well.